have apprenticeships back in horticulture now, and that's what's coming down the tracks as well in the next year or so. So we train our students across 4 main areas in horticulture, and that's what you've maybe been exposed to through the conversations with our colleagues here as well. So we talk about food production, and that's becoming a huge area again in the last few years, and the pandemic has probably contributed to that. Nursery stock production is a strong element of what we do. Landscape design and maintenance, and sports turf science. So people that qualify in horticulture from our programs are generally in those 4 categories. Is that okay? And that's what we train them for the industry. The horticultural sector is very wide in Ireland. There's about 16,000 people working in horticulture directly in Ireland. And they're employed largely in those 4 sectors, but not exclusively. Take, for example, an area that's becoming very, very strong is the whole area of interior plantscaping, whereby buildings where people reside are becoming, and work are becoming very much populated by indoor plantings. And that's one of the areas we cover. Beekeeping and pollination. That's another aspect that we teach within horticulture that people are very interested in. And a third one that's very big is social and therapeutic horticulture. And that's using horticulture and the natural environment to replace the whole idea of chemical solutions to people's problems. Okay, just examples. We deliver our courses across 2 sites. You've seen the National Botanic Gardens. This is teagasc. And teagasc would have about 150 people working and studying here at any given time. They're studying food research, they're studying food nutraceutical research, they're studying meat technology, and they're studying that from master's right up to PhD level. And we also facilitate the study of our courses, level 5, level 6, and level 7 in horticulture here as well. So students are bilocated between both sides. So, level 5, level 6, level 7, level 8, that's in the cards. It's on the cards in conjunction with our university partner, Southeast Technological University. We conduct summer courses, and you'll find those on our website at teagasc.ie for the summer course program that we opened up actually today. We do component awards at level 5, 6, and 7, and what's coming down the tracks is apprenticeships in sports turf and what we call general horticulture, both at level 6 on the national framework of qualifications. And just to briefly explain that, people are often confused about what are these different levels, right? Hands up everybody that knows what a QQI level of education entails. Very small number. So I'll put it into context. Take your leaving cert, right? That's generally at level 5 on the national framework of qualifications, and there's 10 levels on that framework. So level 5 is generally your leaving cert. We start our programs at certificate level 5, and then we have an advanced certificate at level 6, and we have an ordinary degree at level 7. So they're the 3 areas that we operate in. We have approximately 250 students that are following those levels at different stages. Now, anyone got questions so far? I'm going to pause there for a second. Yes?
Do you have to start at 5 and work through, or can you jump in?
Good question. You generally start at 5. You generally start at 5, but you can start at 7. For example, if you're a school leaver and you can apply through the CEO to do your degree in horticulture in conjunction with Southeast Technological University, you can go straight in to start your level 7 there. And that's a 3-year course. So year 1, year 2, and year 3. Okay? But generally, a lot of people look at, say, and the people that I've met this morning that might be interested in, say, dipping your toe in the water to do with horticulture, level 5 is generally the place that you start at. Yes?
What are some of the job opportunities for level 6?
So, level 6 job opportunities would rotate around landscaping, sports turf, food production, and nursery stock development. So, you're talking about people that will get job in the, maybe in the production and supervisory area in those jobs. We advise people to try and get to level 6 in order to go out and compete in a job. So a person, the companies that contact us are looking for people generally with a strong qualification in horticulture, good placement experience, and then put them working in landscape companies, in nurseries for the production of younger plants, and they will be moving from, we say, general operative up to supervisory level in those operations. Okay? The higher the qualification you have in any discipline, the higher you will go in that company. Okay? So as I said, there's about 16,000 people working in horticulture across the country, broadly in those 4 areas. So after level 7, well, there are higher degrees at level 8. The university that we're connected with does a degree in horticulture at level 8. It's called land management. You can also do a level 8, for example, in UCD in sports turf, right? A level 8 is an honours degree, so you need to gravitate up to that. Okay. Some graduates of our programs would go on to maybe the level 8 program in botany in TCD as well. That's in Trinity College. But their current level 8 options are there to. There's another question up the back.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask if someone has a junior cert.
Yeah.
Can they go into level 5 here without a leaving cert?
The answer is they can, but what the caveat to that is, should they, right? To go into a level 5 on a teagasc program, you don't need to have any prerequisites as such. You just need to be 17 years of age or older on the 1st of January in the year in which the award is given. I would say, because I tempered my talk about the levels, the leaving cert is level 5. And in order for a mind to be developed to do a level 5, they should at least be at that level before they come on to it. The chances of success are a lot higher if a person has a leaving certificate attained before going on to another course or hobby. That's always my view, and I think it's really, really important. I mean, in teagasc, we operate 3,500 students on level 5 and level 6 across the board. And the students that come in without a leaving cert are not, we say, strongly enough developed academic-wise to progress and to succeed on the level 5 that we have. There's a lot of science, and my colleagues will reinforce that. There's a lot of science in our level 5 program. There's soil science, there's plant science, there's plant propagation, and there's plant protection, all of which they're heavily science reinforced. So that terminology is important to understand. I think we need to sit down and talk closely about that. But the rules are the rules, and you don't need anything to get in to level 5 as such. The degree course points options generally fluctuate between 200 and 250 points. That's for the level 7 SE 507 course. SE 507 is the code for that course, generally between 2 and 250. And I would say it's important to be attaining that as an absolute minimum, again, to succeed on that program, to succeed on that degree program. This year in the degree program, we start off with about 22 students, so it's a nice compact class. And again, a lot of science on that program, a lot of science, and there's a lot of plant ID, there's a lot of practical horticulture. But as you move into the higher years in that program, for example, you're doing a lot of business and you're doing a lot of people management and say non-horticultural stuff, but that's what that degree is about. It's about science, it's about horticulture, and it's about business. So, yes?
Hi John, I presume these level 5 and level 6 qualifications they're full-time opportunities at the moment.
They're
So
full-time, yeah.
Could you talk to us a little bit about how, say, someone who's trying to approach that by doing modular component work
Yeah,
can arrive at those same qualifications?
Yeah, so our second last box there, component level 5, level 6, and level 7. And About 6-7 years ago, we started offering individual subjects from level 5 and indeed level 6. So people like yourselves could dip your toe in the water. So to do a full level 5, you have to do 9 subjects, or modules as we call them. They all have a credit rating, and the credit rating adds up to 120. So to get a full level 5 certificate in horticulture, you need to get 120 credits. So some people that's too much because of work, family, commitments and all that. So what we have in the college, and I can be corrected on this, but approximately we have 80 or 90 level 5 students that are doing part-time modules, and they're doing anything from 1 to 2 to 3 modules. So as I say to people, it's like going back to do your leaving cert and just picking geography, or just picking maths, and not picking Irish, because we all loved Irish, didn't we? But that's the construct. So you can go back and you can pick 1, 2, or 3. Now on our website we have a detailed table of each module, the timing that it's given, and the semester that it's given in, whether it's before Christmas or after Christmas. And people can go in, as of this morning in the Deirdre, that was made live on our website, the application for part-time level 5 component. So you can pick which one suits you. We've already asked our present students what they would like to do, because they've been with us for a while. So there's been a lot of picking and choosing for those present students. Okay? So now it's open to Joe Public like yourself to go in there and look at level 5 and say, I want to do landscape construction maintenance, or I want to do that. Yes?
Is there a certain time frame if you do it by module like that you have to complete the
Well,
whole by?
yeah, that's a very good question. Sorry, now, did I answer your question there? Is that okay?
Yeah, I
And I'll
suppose
take your question after.
what you said is on the website suggests that then those modules will be delivered at the times that work for the full-time program. But
Yes.
if there's availability on some modules, then someone can come in and take those at
Yes.
a component level. Or
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Generally, our figures are, we take about 40 full-time students and about 20 part-time students in the level 5 program.
Yeah.
It's just worth saying as well that if you do come in on the full-time programme, that you are connected with the college on a weekly basis from September till March for 3.5 days as a full-time student. So you're not 5 days a week, it's 3.5 days for both semesters. So there's flexibility in there. You're finished on a Friday at 12:30, and depending on what elective modules you decide to do, you're either free on a Monday or a Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are 4 modules that we deliver. So full-time students are only ever in college for 3.5 days. Just to know that it's not every day.
And that question there, just go back to that girl there behind you, is there a certain time limit? There isn't a specified time limit, but we do encourage people, if they are planning to do 2 or 3, at a time, obviously 2 to 3 years is the time limit.
Yeah.
And because these courses are subject to QQI approval and validation, and every number of years there's a programmatic review, and we have to kind of pause and restart. So if you're thinking of doing it, the sooner you do it, the better. Yeah, we have a lot of people that have been doing it over 2 years, for example, because it suits them to do it over 2 years, retain their job, and then do 4 modules, 1 year, and 5 modules. And one of which of those modules is placement as well. Yeah. Now again, any of my colleagues join in here if there's anything that needs to be added. Is that okay? Yeah. So that's a slide on the level 5. These are some of the example subject areas. Level 5, as I often describe it, it's your start off qualification for us here, but it is a springboard to other things. I mean, you can go out now today and if you're looking for work in horticulture, it's there. There's no question you'll get work in horticulture. But how far you elevate yourself within the horticulture industry and within your career is a lot of the time dependent on how you start off with your qualification. So that's why we encourage people, if you're coming in on the journey, aim for level 6. And you have to have level 5 to get on to level 6. Just to make that clear. Is that clear with everyone? You have to have 5 before you go on to 6. You need to pass your level 5 and then you're on to your level 6. Okay? So they're examples of what's in level 5. Level 5 is really about learning about your plant names, the science of the plant, the science of the soil, and the science of the environment around the plant. Then when you go on to your level 6, you're talking about, well, what am I going to do with these plants, right? Where am I going to use them? And what further can I make of them? So these are the subjects like sports turf science, like market gardening, which is food production, tree and shrub, nursery, ecology, landscape design, and garden central operations. So they're more specialised subjects, as you will see, that are part and parcel of the level. Again, there's placement in both levels. There's a full industry placement. After tomorrow, our level 5 and level 6 students are going on placement. So they're actually finished tomorrow, 10th of March. The level 5s are going on placement for 8 weeks, and the level 6s are going on placement for up to 16 weeks. So they won't be finished till July. Right? And our level 7 is in conjunction with this newly formed technological university. It used to be the Waterford Institute of Technology. So we facilitate the level 7 here in Dublin, again on our 2 sites, in our degree in horticulture. Okay? So again, what I'd say about that is level 7 is horticulture, it's business and it's science, all combined. There's an emphasis on business towards the end of that degree. And it's there because we're training those people to go in and to work in the business of horticulture. Whether it's running nurseries, running landscape units, running turf grass operations, starting their own businesses. They need business acumen as well. Okay, and that's the difference in that program. And we have about 60, 65 students in that program across the 3 years. Okay. So, placement. Any questions about placement? Some of you are already probably doing programs and doing placement already, isn't that right? Some people admit already. So placement is a fundamental part of horticultural program, be it in level 5 or level 6 or level 7. All of our placements are now done in the springtime. Okay? We don't do any placements in the autumn winter period like we used to one time. 8 weeks in level 5, 16 weeks in level 6, and 15 weeks in level 7. And the location is the same. On teagasc approved posts. And someone asked me there just as we were going over what does that mean. teagasc who's approved host is an employer that's been passed as approved to take and to train our students. Okay, so there's a lot of nurseries out there that we have on our books. There's a lot of landscapers, there's a lot of food producers, and sports turf venues would all be there as approved hosts. They take our students and they mentor them, train them, and school them for their placement. And the students get paid on their placement now as well. You're paid €208 per week for your 35-hour week. It's a training allowance. Okay, monitored by ourselves in the college, and with a placement officer that looks after the placement. So there's a lot of students going out on placement now next week. And it's a great time for them to be going out because everything is starting up in nature now, and the days are getting longer, so they're dispensing with their academia for the time being and out on place. Foreign placement options as well. Any questions on that? We encourage students to broaden their horizons, obviously. teagasc would have a lot of connections with different countries and different employers in other countries, students every year. Some years more than others. I know a couple of years ago we had 6 that went to America that did their placement over there. There's a few on foreign placement at the minute, but it is an option for anybody that. And remember that horticulture, once you have a horticulture qualification, you can travel anywhere. Yes?
Sorry, another question.
Yeah.
If you were doing the environment toward level 5,
Yeah.
can your placement, does it have to be one block of 8 weeks, or could you, if you're doing it over a number of years, could you do 4 weeks, 1 year?
We generally like to see all of it together. Look, we have situations where we look For somebody that's working full-time, it's a difficult one, we appreciate that. But in general terms, we like to see it all done together. It's to do with the placement experience, because you need continuity in placement as well. Going across that period of time, to see the development of clients you're dealing with, as well, and to work with the people as well, But look, we can talk about options around that. Yeah,
It's just going back to the level 7 university degree.
yeah,
You have a level 9 in a different discipline.
Yeah.
You go straight to that one, or do you still need to go through 5 and 6?
well, like I said, you can go straight to the level 7. You don't have to do 5, 6, and then 7. These are just the way, this is just how our place works. You can go straight into level 7, because level 7 accepts applicants at advanced entry, right? So if you have a level 9 in another discipline, obviously you're qualified, you have a primary degree as well, and the advanced entry route, where you get recognition of prior learning for previous work that you've done, is taken into account, especially if it's science related. Business, well, there's business in that degree as well. But generally speaking, for people that are over 23, the advanced transfer route is a route that should be examined, and that's on the SETU website, setu.ie. But if you want to pop us a message on it, we can reply to you and direct you as well. But the answer is, your qualifications can be taken into account, but generally speaking, it's this recognition of prior learning. So it needs to be connected with the topics that are in the degree program as well, do you understand?
Do you have to apply for that through the CEO?
Yeah, so that,
Always,
the degree is generally through the CAO, and you can put in an application. But that advanced transfer route, that opens between March and May.
It's open.
It's open at the moment. Yeah.
It's open, and you can go directly to it from the SETU website or the CEO website.
And then who decide, you guys here decide on that?
No, SETU admissions, SETU admissions would they look at, like, the level 7 degree is their course, and they look after the admission and administration of it. Now, we facilitate it, obviously. You don't have to go to Waterford to do any coursework or anything except to pick up your degree. There was a question there?
Is the level 6 done across 2 semesters as well, and to see that the
Yeah.
work placement is longer, but
Yeah.
maybe that's less theory, more practical, is it?
Yeah, so full-time level 6 starts with us in November, right? And our 16 weeks goes November to March. That's our coursework, and then the placement goes from March to July. So, if you like, there's a period before Christmas, up to Christmas is very short, and then there's a longer semester after Christmas up to March. But then you're going out on your placement to your host. And it's worked quite well. In some other centres, they start the level 6 in January, but we started in November, so that students are going out in March. Yeah. Our level 5 starts the end of August, beginning of September. I think it's the 28th.
Monday the 28th of August.
Monday the
induction
28th
into
of August.
Botanic Garden.
Yeah, and there's 15 weeks before Christmas in level 5 and 10 weeks after Christmas. And that 10 weeks is finishing for our group tomorrow. Then they're going out on their 8 weeks. Yeah, good questions, yeah?
Is the level 6 done through CAO, or is it just?
No, it's direct entry. The level 5 and level 6 are direct application to teagasc, to whichever college you're choosing to go to. So it's the National Botanic Garden. And again, teagasc.ie /apply online. That will get you to that whole page on.
And that goes, level 6, is that go 3.5 day a week, or 5 day a week?
Well, it depends on the timetable, but as Deirdre said, like there is going to be a timetable produced every year. It can be between 3 and 5 days.
Level 6 is generally 4.5 days connected with college. And 5 is 3.5 each year.
Okay. So, anyone interested in apprenticeships? Yeah, there's a number of people. So, just briefly on apprenticeships. The apprenticeship program is coming down the tracks. It's part of government policy since 2015 to set up more and more apprenticeships in Ireland. And you may remember years ago there was a tradition of apprenticeships in the crafts of building, construction and mechanics. But nowadays there's up to 70 different apprenticeships available across all whole suite of industries, and horticulture and agriculture are becoming one of those. So Teagasc are launching 5 of them in the very near future, and the first 2 will be in horticulture. So the horticulture apprenticeships, the first one is a sports turf apprenticeship. It's a 2-year program, and essentially what the sports turf apprenticeship will be is a contract of employment between an employee, the apprentice, and the employer, the host. Okay? It's fairly simple. It's 80% on the job training, and it's 20% block release training. And Teagasc, for example, would conduct the 20% training. That manifests itself into 12 weeks in year 1 and 12 weeks in year 2, where you're released from your job to come and study in the college. You're paid by your employer, proper payment structure, you get your holidays, it's a proper contract of employment, and you're released to come into the school or the college, the centre, to do your coursework. There's 120 credits, again, across those 2 years. And actually, there's 9 modules in the sports across the 2 years as well. But that's not too unlike what we're doing at level 6. Very good model of training, and the number of people I spoke to already, I would recommend it to them straight away, because they're currently in employment, and it's a matter of getting your employer registered as a host. And that will be done by SOLAS. Okay?
How would you find your employer when you go to it?
Yeah, so first of all, what I would recommend, and you might have seen it over in the botanics, there was a QR code where to register your interest in apprenticeships. We might have them here directly as well. Yeah, there's a QR code there, and we make it available. I have one in my pack anyway. But on the Teagasc website, on the education part of the Teagasc website, there's a place where you can register your interest in an apprenticeship. And I think you filled out that form this morning, Adrian, for us, didn't you? You did, so you got in there. And we'd recommend the employers to do the same. So the employers can register their interest. If I'm an employer and I run a nursery and I want to take on apprentices, I'll be registering my stake there. So it will be then a matching process. Okay? Yes.
Sorry, just on that 2-year level 6 for the apprenticeship.
Yeah, the
Does that
2 year.
mean you don't necessarily need a level 5, you can just go straight into it?
Great question. There isn't a level 5. There isn't a level 5 requirement to go into it. However, one of the things I would say is that it would be very useful to have one. And there's a lot of people with level 5s out there who might be looking at apprenticeships, and I think it's certainly advantageous to have it. It's like the question earlier, do you need it? You don't need it, but it's certainly advantageous, because in our level 5 you get a lot of science, you get a lot of ident. That's really important in a horticultural apprenticeship. It will really help you in your apprenticeship studies. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it says that 20% college-based work
Yeah.
represents 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Is that 12 weeks block release or 12 weeks blended? Or
So it's 12 weeks, yeah, it's 12 weeks in year 1 and it's 12 weeks in year 2. Half of the 12 weeks will be face-to-face and the other half will be blended. So we will operate blended in that program, and blended means through the computer, so students, apprentices will want some IT skills, being able to be good with emails and Moodle, which is our learning platform. Okay? Yeah, but the face-to-face element will be conducted in a Teagasc centre to be decided. Okay? It's a really big thing, I think, and that the employers are very much behind it, you know. There's a lot of people out there working in horticulture at the minute with qualifications that this would be tailor-made for. They need to keep working, obviously, because they have bills, and like everyone else, they have to be paid. And you have this shorter period of block release. Whereas our level 6 horticulture, that's full time. You got to be here full time, give or take, and then go on to 16 weeks. So it'll be up to everyone to make up their mind, and that's where we're here to help and to help guide you and see what's the best fit for you. You know? Yeah.
Sorry, John, could you just unpack the applied horticulture area? You mentioned there was 5 categories. They were thinking about starting with 2, but what's in the applied?
Yeah, so I mentioned there's 2 horticultural apprenticeships. One is sponsor, and the other one is what we call the applied horticulturalist. And that essentially contains all the other parts of horticulture: the food, the landscape, the nursery, the garden centre operation, right? So anything that's not sports turf, we're trying to train people in the other stream of, and we have syllabi made out for that, and that'll all happen then. So you have 2 horticulture, one is sports turf and the other is everything else. Yeah.
John, when do the 12-week blocks operate in practice for the apprenticeship program? When
So-
will they be happening in the year?
Yeah, so what they're doing is they're dividing each year into essentially, so take year 1. They're making a pre-Christmas, a post-Christmas, and a summer. So they generally divide the college work into each of those 3 areas. And again, that detail has to be worked out. But it'll be even, it'll be nicely spread throughout the year, right? You'll have a block of 2, you'll have a block of 4, and you'll have a block of 6 altogether. The 6 will be the blended option, where you can do it remotely. Yeah? Okay? All right. The other thing about that is, and I suppose it's about all the courses, there's a fee attached to courses. Does anybody want to know the fees? No? There's a fee attached to courses. And again, there's component fees and all of that is on the website, and there's full-time fees. The fee, for example, for the apprenticeship is going to be set by the Department of Education. We're told per year it could be between 12 and 1,500 euros per year. That's the fee for the apprenticeship. That's to enroll and study in the apprenticeship. There is a government subsidy to be paid to the employer to offset that. So that we account for that. Fees for our level 5 and level 6, they haven't changed in a long time. The fee for the level 5 full-time program is 990 euros for the full-time level 5 program. And the fee for the level 6 program is 990 euros also. You can, the baby is crying because of these fees. She's walking out now. Yeah. And then we have our fees for our components, and they're dictated by the credit level within each subject. Okay? I'm conscious of time, and I'm conscious that people will be anxious to get back. That's our website. When you open up teagasc.ie and go to the Botanic Gardens, you see that lovely arrangement. You see everything I've been talking about, hopefully. Level 5, full-time, level 5 component, level 6, advanced cert, level 6 component, our degree, and our apprenticeships, and indeed our summer courses, which we opened up this morning. We've a number of offers here for summer courses, starting in May, June, and July, if you want to jump in there and peruse what's available. Okay? That's the QR code which brings you to the website, the Teagasc website. So you can scan that, I think, and leave that up at the end of the so this is the really good stuff that people get involved in. That's the curvilinear range in the National Botanic Gardens, beavering away there under the tree ferns. Great shot there of here in Ashtown. This is Ashtown. That green building in the back is where we are at the minute. You saw the glass houses coming in. Extensive turf grass facilities here. That was an event that took place a number of years ago with the industry. So this is, as I was telling our group coming in, we've got 20 odd acres here that we've access to, and we can do what we like here, essentially, on the grounds. Some of the vast amount of food produce that James Brady produced there one year. He told me there's 30 different crops grown here in Ashtown. James,
Yeah, that's it.
can you name them? Yeah, you can see the massive pumpkins that grow here, which just gives you a flavour of fertility that comes here. That's, what's that? Bloom 2022, and that's our, that was our footprint, and we had a fantastic footprint in Bloom last year. We'll have something similar this year in the Phoenix Park in the June weekend. So that's a bamboo stretch tent, for those of you that don't know what that is. And that was a school tour to the Netherlands in 2019. The school is going again this year to Belgium. The school is going to Belgium this year to Leuven College. There's a horticultural school there, and they're going on a school trip there in April. Machinery workshop, which you'll hopefully see outside. There's Gavin Fowler. Yeah, Gavin's here. Having an interaction with level 6 students in the Red Garden. There's Holly. She was on placement in Tresco Abbey in England last a couple of years ago now, isn't it? Yeah, she was a student of the year with us. And there's the student group again on the school tour. And again, student. Now, those students there, they're involved in building a garden outside here, and hopefully you get to see that with the staff outside. So we can build gardens here, and as part of, for example, landscape construction studies in second year, level 6, part of their work is to design and build a garden. So they spend 8 weeks here in March and April designing and building a garden, like what you see on telly. And it has to be, there has to be 3 or 4 different elements in it. It has to be water feature, stonework, timber features, and then soft landscape. So they get involved in everything, and that's great training now. That's just an example of a fantastic training, and we cover all the costs in terms of the build and all that. And they get to draw that out first, obviously, and then build it. Plant science in COVID times. Clara Bog with Carol Melody, our teacher. So students go on lots of field trips actually. That's one of the things I'm sure the staff will tell you about. There's so much to see out there in horticulture. So you're constantly going on field trips and you're seeing what the industry is about. And an awful lot of those field trips are actually to hosts where we send students. Because there's a very good network out there in horticulture. It's fantastic. So that's about it. Ongoing develops in apprenticeships, level 8 proposal with our university partner, and of course blended learning, because we're trying to bring some of the learnings from the pandemic into what we do. And that's why I gave the example of the apprenticeship having that blended learning interaction to really facilitate the non-movement and traffic that goes on for students in and out of, say, a centre like Dublin or down to Dalton. So there'll be a blended option, and that has developed as a result of our pandemic. So there's our contact details, and that's it in a nutshell. Anybody want to contribute anything there? Is there anything we've left out? To tell them how fantastic it is to study horticulture in the Teagasc College? This particular building we're in, we've stopped talking about the fees. This particular building we're in, this was all opened in 2018. This part of it was opened in 2018. It was the original building was here. So there's great canteen facilities and a student locker building, student facilities down near the Red Garden.